Well, joining me now at the Future Renting Conference in Cardiff, Wales, by the RLA is another speaker. It's the lovely Kate Faulkner. Hello, and Kate, I think, we always recommend that landlords come out to these kind of events, but it seems to me now that it's really more important than ever because there's such a velocity of change of legislation and regulation.
Oh, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And really, so the rule is, in my view, if you are a landlord, you have to, as a minimum, belong to one of the landlord associations, and either that or you have to use an RLA or RICS member agent. And if you're not doing either of those, you're going to get fined. Whether it's 5 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, it's going to happen, and don't come crying to us because you heard it here.
Indeed. And it's been such a great lineup of speakers here. The RLA always puts on such a top quality event. We've had a representative from government, from Rent Smart Wales, we've got yourself, somebody from Savills. It's covering a lot of ground today, isn't it?
Well, it is, and you can, at least with on a one day, it's amazing how much you can pack in, and you can kind of come in going, oh my God, this is all really scary. But actually, I mean, I was quite surprised when they gave me the presentation to do, which was disruptors in the PRS. I thought, oh no, another bad news story for landlords. Actually, there's loads of really exciting things that they have to look forward to. So you can pack in, and it's just one day of your time. Really a ton of information that's going to keep you going, at least hopefully for the next few months, because I don't think anybody can bring legislation in that fast. But I was just talking to people now. There's every time you try and put something out, so you and I try and put something out on legislation, you're about to go to press, and then they come up with something else. And I think that's just happened in Wales. And then you have to go back to square one.
Yeah.
And when that's happening, it's your responsibility as a landlord, or indeed a letting agent, to keep yourself up to date. So you can't miss this stuff, and you can't get this value education anywhere else. So I'd hardly go out and speak these days. This is one opportunity to hear what I've got to say, if that's of interest. But to get somebody like Savills, they can't get out everywhere. So, and their data is phenomenal. So this is a really massive opportunity. And I'm sad this isn't full of 10,000 landlords.
Yes, indeed. Now, for your presentation, you mentioned disruptors in the private rented sector, and it's so good to hear you saying that there are positive things for landlords. One of the things that I think is a game changer is deposit replacement, and I know that you've covered that in your talk. Landlords need these positive things to keep them feeling that they should stay in the sector.
Well, and get out of bed in the morning, to be honest, because it's so scary. So absolutely, and it's even for me that's in this day to day, I was surprised how much stuff they've got to look forward. Better cash flow, for example. Much better way of dealing with maintenance. There's some amazing new insurance coming out now, which will be across the board, I'm sure, at some point, which would take masses of pressure off a landlord, just for a little bit of extra money. So, just knowing what's worth doing and also what's not worth doing. So I think you've got to be a little bit careful. Landlords like to do things cheaper, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean better. And if it means you're not keeping up with legislation, don't touch it with a barge pole.
Indeed, and I think one of the things that your talk is touching on as well is the many different apps and tech out there to help landlords. And really, in this day and age, they should be using these tools because they massively increase efficiency and they could help improve their bottom line. Yeah,
I mean, one of the things that, in my view, landlords are terrible at and need to really get their heads in gear moving forward is tax. And now I can say to them, look, it's not just about getting yourself a tax company, but there are companies out there that you can go to, software you can sign up to, you can press a button and you can get capital gains tax for your property. Wow, that's amazing. It doesn't replace the advice of a tax person, but it can put you in a much, much better position to understand how your properties are performing financially. And I have to say, if there's one thing landlords are poor at doing, it's comparing how their properties are performing versus other investments. And of course, actually, that's the true measure of success.
No, very, very good point. Now, obviously, the RLA is merging with the NLA, and next year we will have the NRLA, National Residential Landlords Association, where the combined membership is actually going to be a real force to be reckoned with. And I'm sure you're very excited about what such a large group of landlords can achieve together, and have much more of a political voice at Westminster.
Absolutely, and it's not just they're getting merger. I've worked with Ben Beadle, who's going to be heading it up, and I think he is terrific. I think he's exactly the sort of personality this industry needs to be representing it. So I am really excited to see what Ben and the new team get up to next year, and I don't have to keep writing different acronyms as well. So good news as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's great to have your contribution here, Kate, as always. Thanks for being part of the interview and also for being part of the event. Yes, it's exciting times for landlords.
Yeah, and some good news.
Good news, and we've spoken to a lot of Welsh landlords, and they are actually feeling surprisingly positive. And I think, coming out to an event such as this, they can talk to their fellow landlords and get some kind of almost like a vitamin injection of positivity to help them go forwards.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.